Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Off-Farm Income Podcast. Hey, thank you so much for joining us here on our YouTube channel for episode number 959. Well, today we are taking you down to Oklahoma. We are going to be speaking with a 2020 National Proficiency winner in beef production placement. Emma VICTERY is joining us on the show. She's going to be talking to us all about kind of being a late bloomer to having a passion for agriculture, but man, where has she taken it since then? How she's developed more and more responsibility on her family's cattle ranch, and now the path she's going to be taking in college to try and build different streams of revenue on her family's ranch and keep this farm tradition going and being sustainable into the future. Very excited to bring this to you, and we're going to get it started for you right now. Emma, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank you for inviting me.
You bet, man. So we released this both as audio and video, and you got this headset with this mic on. You look very professional.
Thank you.
You are welcome. I am very happy to speak with you, and looking forward to the conversation. Now, where are we talking to you from? Where are you at right now?
I am in Chickasha, Oklahoma.
Okay, and I'm assuming you're at school.
Yes.
Okay, and you're a senior this year.
Yes, sir.
Good for you. So a semester to go, and then it's all over.
Yes, and it's coming to an end very quickly.
Is that in a normal year, I think I would know what you meant by that. But with coronavirus and all this stuff going on, do you have an advanced or an accelerated graduation, or do you just mean high school's coming, it's getting done with a lot faster than I expected?
It's just getting done with a lot faster than I expected. I don't feel like it should be Christmas right now. So we're already halfway there, done with the semester. So it's going very quickly.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's a good sign. That means that you've enjoyed your time there at high school and in the FFA. If you were sitting here going, it feels like I've been here 8 years, then that would say something different.
No, for sure. No, I feel like I could still be in a freshman ag class right now. Like that's how quickly it has gone by.
Wow. Well, good for you. Now, what part of the state are you in? And you're in Oklahoma, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay.
We're actually in Southwest Oklahoma.
Southwest Oklahoma. Okay. And so this is where you grew up your entire life?
Yes. My dad's family is actually from here, and we moved to Western Oklahoma probably about 15 years ago, and then we moved back to Chickasha probably 8 years ago. So
Okay.
we've been here for a while.
Okay. I got to quit saying Chickasha. Chickasha. Okay.
Yes.
I got to get the regional stuff right.
Mm-hmm.
Now, do you live on a farm, or do you live in town, or something like in the middle of those two?
Yeah, we live out on a farm. It's actually down by Ninnekah, Oklahoma. So it's probably 20 minutes south of Chickasha.
Okay. And what kind of agricultural activities are going on there at that farm?
At my family's farm, we have a 200 plus cow calf and seed stock operation where we primarily specialize in selling bulls and heifers.
Okay. What breed?
Um, Mainly Angus, but mostly commercial. So it's
Okay.
kind of Angus commercial.
Angus and commercial crosses.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, very good. And how long has your family been involved in the cattle business?
Wow, a really long time. My grandpa started out as an order buyer probably I want to say 50 years ago.
Oh, wow.
So he's been um and they've always had a cow calf operation, but he really got involved when he bought cattle for other people, kind of made a lot of connections for our family in Oklahoma and down in Texas as well.
Okay, very good. Man, that's a long family history. And I know that you've got a beef cattle placement SAE. Is it working on the family's ranch that is part of that?
Yes, it is.
Okay, we'll loop back around to that here in a moment. Okay, so I think the answer here is obvious, but when and why did you join the FFA?
Um, I joined FFA my freshman year of high school. I honestly joined because it's something my family has always done. I've always been involved in agriculture, and I knew that being involved in FFA was something that I wanted to do. I didn't know how involved I wanted to be as a freshman, and but throughout my FFA experience, turns out it's what I really enjoy,
Hmm.
and it's the main thing that I have focused on in my high school career. So that's pretty awesome.
That is. Well, good for you. I mean, there are a number of ways you can focus, right? You could go into sports, you could go into different extracurricular activities, and of course, the FFA. FFA is where you chose to, I guess, put your emphasis,
Yes,
and
for
that's
sure.
paid off. You're currently your chapter's president.
Yes, I am.
Good for you. That's great. So obviously, you've put that energy into the FFA, and other people have recognized that as well.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, have you been an officer? How many years, I guess, have you been an officer?
The past 3 years, I have been able to serve on the officer team.
Okay. So you came in as a freshman and said, I want to be on the officer team and made it happen your sophomore year.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
And it's kind of a family thing. We've always so I'll be the third generation of my family that has been president. So that was kind of cool.
That is cool. And so were you compelled simply by the family tradition to become an officer, or was there more at play there in that decision?
I would say that there was definitely more than that. My freshman year, I got involved in everything, student government, sports, everything. And my freshman year, I really found out what I liked in FFA, and I started showing. I actually showed pigs my first year, so I really liked that. And then I eventually transitioned over to showing cattle, and so everything in FFA, I kind of got my hands on and got involved, and I figured out that it was something that I actively wanted to pursue for the rest of my career as a high school student.
Oh, that's interesting. So you showed pigs. Were
Yeah,
you
yeah.
raising pigs on the place already, or is this just out of the blue?
That was just out of the blue, just to kind of figure out if I liked showing in general, because I hadn't
Hmm.
showed anything before. I had just grown up on a farm, basically.
Okay.
So the pigs were kind of just an experiment, but my brother still shows pigs. So
That's funny. There's something about daughters and showing animals. Now, on my farm here in Idaho, we raise cattle, we raise goats, and we raise pigs. And my daughter decided she wanted to show sheep. I can't explain it. The one thing we didn't have on the farm, that's what we had chickens too. She could show a chicken. No, she wanted to show sheep. So we got to go buy a lamb or two every year for her to raise up and then to run through the show ring there at the fair. So I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is. Why didn't you start off with beef cattle right off the bat?
I think my parents just wanted to see how interested I was.
Mm-hmm.
So they decided to go with pigs for the first year.
Okay. Very good. Well, did you have some success that first year with the pigs?
Um, no.
That's honest.
I
Okay.
learned a lot for sure.
Yes, definitely. You learn a lot even when you're not having, that extreme success in the show ring there. That's very honest.
Yeah.
Well, let's do this. How many FFA advisors do you have down there? And would you mind mentioning them for us?
Yes. We have two agricultural advisors at Chickasha. Colby and Emily Schmidt are both my ag teachers.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for mentioning them. And I'm going to just take a quick moment to talk about one of our sponsors, Powder River, okay?
Okay.
I wanted to ask you, so you've got some experience working with Powder River yourself.
Yes.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Um, I've actually been able to use their chute at a cattle handling contest that I have been involved in these past 2 years. We really liked the chute. It worked really good during our contest.
Well, good. You're still here. You're able to do the interview, so I'm assuming nothing went horrifically wrong with the
No.
the cattle and the chutes. That's great. Well, thank you for that acknowledgement. I always love it to have somebody on the show who's actually used the products that we promote here on the show. So I really appreciate that. Thank you for that. Well, speaking of cattle, let's talk about your supervised agricultural experience. So I know it's we already kind of mentioned that it's placement, working on your family's ranch. Tell us what your day-to-day responsibilities are.
My responsibilities tend to vary from day to day. In the beginning, my dad had me feeding cattle, but now I'm able to perform more specialized things on our operations, such as making breeding decisions and management decisions,
Mm-hmm.
evaluating bulls and looking at UPDs to kind of figure out what would work the best in our cow herd.
Oh, wow. That is a big progression in responsibility and knowledge.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. So let's talk EPDs for a second. So this is something so I went to college. I got an animal science degree years ago, decades ago now. Man, it hurts to be able to say decades ago. And I started learning about EPDs, or expected progeny differences. And I'm not quite sure I ever grasped it. Was this something really easy for you to understand and be able to kind of look at those EPDs and then look at the phenotypical traits of these bulls and make it all mesh up? Or is this something that took you a while to figure out?
It's definitely taken me a while, and I'm definitely still learning. Um, it's difficult because you're looking at a percent essentially, like
Hmm.
your top 1% bull or your top 20% bull. That and when you're evaluating these EPDs, you have to really know what you're looking at. And it's something I still work on with my dad, and I always consult him because we definitely do not want to um, especially when we're breeding heifers, it's something
Hmm.
we look at a lot more than we do within our cow herd, especially with birth weight. That is one of the main things that we've been
Sure.
focusing on. So that if you get it wrong, it's very hard to try and correct later.
Yeah, and it's such a long-term project, right? I mean, you make
Right.
a decision for this breeding season, and here you are, at best you're 9 months away from getting that calf and seeing how it turned
Hmm.
out. And then you're another 18 months from, or we'll say another 8 months from really getting that weaning weight and finding out how you did on that decision. And if it was the wrong decision, it starts that whole, year and a half process over again.
Right. Especially when you're breeding to different bulls within your cow herd, you have to make the decision in advance what specific cows you want to breed to this bull for this trait. And that's something that I don't want to say we struggle with, but that's something we definitely focus a lot of our time on.
Yeah, so that's going to be one of your bigger challenges, obviously.
Right.
Okay, very cool. Now, so you talked about kind of the day-to-day responsibilities and how you've graduated through that. What about marketing the seed stock, these bulls, and do you guys sell any heifers or just bulls as seed stock?
We sell bulls and we also sell bred heifers. So the bred heifers is something we have done for probably the past 5 years. And then we started selling bulls to producers probably the year before last year.
Oh, really?
So,
Okay.
yes. Um, so my marketing responsibilities have definitely changed, and I'm actually starting a new SAE, or not starting a new SAE. I've already started this SAE. I'm starting to fill out the proficiency application
Okay.
um, for ag communications with that marketing SAE. So that's pretty cool. And I've definitely had to expand my knowledge about marketing,
Mm-hmm.
designing websites, what angles look best when you're taking pictures of bulls or heifers,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of just trying to figure it all out. So
Okay. So ag communication. So so you're applying for what, a state proficiency or a national proficiency in ag communications?
right now it'll be a state proficiency, and then hopefully it'll be able to be a national proficiency.
Awesome. And this is going to, I guess the foundation of this application is going to be your family's ranch website. Is that correct?
Ranch website, Facebook page, taking pictures of
Mm-hmm.
all of our livestock, and just I've also been able to help live stream shows at our county fairs in Southwest District. So we'll kind of throw that in there in the
Mm-hmm.
proficiency application. So just a
That
lot.
that is great. So you're not just learning angles, but you're learning about equipment. If you're live streaming, you're learning about
Right.
computers. You're learning about camera equipment, all that type of
Hmm.
stuff, right?
Yes.
Very interesting. What's the name of your family's ranch?
Victory Farms.
Victory Farms. And Victory is spelled, interestingly, different than people would normally say, right? Victery.
Yes.
Okay, so a little bit different than intuitively people would think. And is that the same name for the Facebook and the Instagram as well?
Yes.
Okay. And you're managing all of that.
Yes, and I'm still consulting my dad with all of that just to make sure that it's up to
Sure.
par and all of that kind of stuff.
Very cool. Now, does he have the tech ability to do all those types of things, or is it the type of thing where you've got the tech ability and you bring it to him and you go, does this look like you want it to look?
He definitely has the tech ability. I have just discovered that I really enjoy doing all of those things. So it's been
Hmm.
kind of hard for him to hand that over to me.
Okay.
But we're working on it. And so I come to him with ideas and show them to him, and he'll go over them, see what he wants changed, and then we'll make a decision from there.
Okay. Now, how did you get involved with streaming or being responsible for the streaming of your county fair?
Our FFA chapter actually has all of the live stream equipment.
Okay.
So we're able to live stream shows. We actually just live streamed a horse show. So that was a little bit interesting. That was cool. So that's,
That's interesting. And when you're doing that, is the camera set? Is it just one angle? Or do you have somebody behind the camera that is, that's moving it and they're following the exhibitor through the ring and doing all of that?
we usually have somebody behind the camera moving it, adjusting angles. Um, you can see it on the computer monitor. So if anything
Hmm.
needs changed, we can change it, move it. So it honestly depends on what type of show we are live streaming. Like a pig show, we don't change the angles very much. A horse show, we definitely have somebody behind the camera following that animal the whole time.
Okay. And is this the first year that your FFA chapter has done a live stream on the shows, or has this been going on for a couple years before COVID?
I believe we have been doing it for the past 3 years.
Okay. Then the reason I'm asking is this year is kind of obvious, right?
Right.
You would do it, and then folks who either couldn't get in because of restrictions or were worried
Mhm.
about being exposed, they could watch from home. But in the years prior to coronavirus, who are your viewers in terms of watching the shows being streamed? Is it friends and family who are out of the area, can't be there at the show? Is it people who want to bid and they're going to be a buyer at the auction coming up later on? I mean, who is it that's tuning in?
I would say mainly friends and family. At this horse show that we streamed, we actually had trainers tuning in and watching the horses that they train run,
Hmm.
and they were able to give their owners feedback. They're out of state doing whatever training other horses. They were actually able to give them a phone call and tell them what they needed to do in their next run. So that was kind of cool.
That is really cool, man. Technology is amazing, is it not?
Yes.
Very cool. So you're learning, man. I think we're speaking with a burgeoning expert in the cattle industry here. You're learning the EPDs, the breeding side, and then the communication and the marketing side. You're going to be an unstoppable force.
I hope so.
That is awesome. Okay, so any proficiency awards or anything like that so far, or is this going to be your first application this year?
Last year I actually won state in my beef production placement proficiency, and then I also was able to win nationals, so that was awesome, and my family was super excited about that.
That is awesome. I was not aware of that. So you're a national proficiency winner this year?
Yes, I am.
Congratulations. That
Thank
is a
you.
fantastic achievement. So you got the bug. Now you're applying for another proficiency. You're like, I like that.
Yeah.
That is great. So you're applying for another. Now with your national proficiency win this year, and you're graduating high school, are you going to be applying for trying to become an American Star finalist or anything like that?
I will be applying for District Star this upcoming spring,
Okay.
and then I will be able to apply for a State Star if I win districts,
Okay.
and then so then we'll see about state and then maybe nationals.
Wow, very cool. So you've got a lot of runway out in front of you still with the FFA,
Yes.
even though you're graduating high school. That is great. Very cool. Okay. Well, so with that said, you are graduating here very soon. High school is rushing past you in an instant. And I got to tell you, as time does not slow down, it just keeps speeding up. But it's rushing past you, and here comes after high school. What's after high school going to look like for you?
So after high school, I plan on attending Oklahoma State University and doing a double major in animal science and ag communications with a pre-vet option. So hopefully I will end up going to vet school and returning home and partnering with my family's farm and eventually helping them run it, possibly owning it, but we'll see how that
Wow.
goes.
So you've got your eyes on coming back and doing the succession, taking over the family farm.
Right. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And so you said you have at least one sibling. You've got a brother, younger or older?
I have a younger brother. He is 16.
Hmm.
I call him my little brother. He is like almost 2 feet taller than me. So
Gotcha. Okay, but he's always going to be your little brother just because he's younger.
yes, for sure.
Okay. And what about him? Does he have thoughts on coming back and working on the family farm as well, or is it too soon for him to know?
Eh, it's probably too soon for him to know. He really likes to hunt and fish, so that's kind of where his passion is with our family's farm, and he likes to do the farming side of things. So he likes to plant wheat, he likes to work in the field. So that's not necessarily where I have spent most of my time, but
Hmm.
that's where he likes to be for sure.
Got it. Okay, very cool. Okay, so you've got this double major, animal science and ag communication, which all makes sense based on everything you're talking about. And you are looking at vet school. So do you want to go to vet school to gain the knowledge to bring back to your family's farm, or do you want to work off the farm in addition to working on your family's ranch and be a large animal vet or something like that?
Right. I want to be able to work off the farm, but mainly focus my time on the farm. I want to specialize in cattle reproduction.
Hmm.
So I feel like that is something like an asset that I would be able to bring back to our operation as well as other producers in our area.
Okay. And so are you talking about embryo transfers and things of that nature?
Yes,
Okay.
for sure.
And now is that a practice that you're already using there?
Um, we don't really use it. We do a lot of artificial insemination.
Hmm.
We've talked about flushing some cows. It's not something that we've really looked heavily at.
Okay.
We've picked out a couple that we really like, and we're just gonna see how that goes.
Yeah, that's a bit addicting, I think. You flush a good cow, you get some good recips, and you implant those embryos, and you start getting good calves, a lot of good calves out of those recips that you didn't have to pay. Well, I mean, it's all out of the same cow. It's out of the cow and the
Yeah,
and the bull that you like, and I think that can get a bit addicting. But I think it can be a great business as well.
right. And that would be a whole other area, other aside from our commercial cow calf.
Hmm.
So we're kind of looking at things and seeing where things go to kind of determine a timeline for that.
Hmm.
So that is something we'll definitely get into in the future, but we haven't really um, gotten involved in it yet.
I see. So you're looking at developing additional streams of revenue to help make this ranch and this farm sustainable.
Right.
Very cool. Good for you. That's really forward thinking. And man, that is the theme of this show. We're always trying to figure out ways to help people achieve the lifestyle they're looking for and then make it last, not be a flash in the pan. And you're thinking well ahead in this respect. And I love what you're doing. So, vet school, you've got to be, I would assume, strong at math, strong at science, biology, things like that.
Yes.
You can brag if you want, if you got great grades and did stuff like that. That's fine.
I mean, they're they're all right. They're good.
That's awesome. Well, good for you. That is great because that is vet schools. Getting into vet school is enough of a challenge. Getting
Right.
through vet school is its own challenge. But I definitely get the feel from you that you are up to the task. So that is really cool. So that's great. So Oklahoma State, you've got that all mapped out. That's all done. I'm assuming you're accepted already and all of that.
Yes. I actually got accepted into honors college, so I'll kind of see what my classes look like later in the spring and see if that's something I want to pursue. But I'm thinking that I will.
Okay, what's honors college? You're talking to a guy who changed his major a bunch of times and barely squeaked by. So I have no clue what honors college is. You got to tell me what that is.
So I'm not 100% sure what it is, but I know that the class sizes are significantly smaller and it's just a different way of learning. Most of my general education classes would be in that, which I've already completed most of them. So I would only be able to take 2 or 3 classes in honors college.
Hmm.
Um, but it's definitely something that I would not be opposed to doing just because it would look better on my college transcript and put me that much farther ahead.
Okay, very good. All right. So you kind of gave me the sense earlier when we were talking, when you talked about showing pigs and why you showed pigs for the first animal you showed, and when you started, you gave me the sense that maybe you were discovering the love for livestock and farming and ranching and all of this a little bit later in life. Like it wasn't maybe there when you were 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old. And you said your parents wanted you to show pigs first to make sure that you were actually interested. So did I interpret that correctly? Did you kind of come to this passion about this later?
Yes, I definitely did. When like growing up in middle school, I played sports. I was very involved in like I was a three-sport athlete,
Mm-hmm.
so I was always off the farm, playing sports, doing everything else extracurricular. And when I got involved in FFA, I kind of um, I don't want to say rediscovered my passion, but kind of figured out that agriculture is something that I always wanted to be involved in. And it's what really wanted to focus my time on because it'll affect me later in my life.
Okay. Well, so with that said, I wanted to ask you about that for other students that are coming into the FFA. You know, they're starting out as a freshman or maybe in a middle school chapter or something like that. But, you know, these days we've got a lot of students that are joining the FFA, but they live in, you know, they don't live on a farm. They live in a subdivision or something like that, and they see a lot that attracts them about the FFA. And then we've got kids that are growing up, they're exposed to it, they're living on farms, but maybe it hasn't quite grabbed them yet. What advice do you have for those students about I guess why you got so excited and motivated about agriculture? What was it about agriculture, farming, ranching, livestock that really grabbed you?
It's different. It's something that you um don't see every day. A lot of people don't know a lot about it, so it is definitely something that you can find what you are interested, and you can educate yourself about this whatever specific area you go into. And there's also so many different areas that you can go into. So it's not as if you're going to find one thing and you're going to get bored because you can always kind of, well, especially in specific areas, these like they're always developing, stuff is always changing. It's not something that just stays the same, but it's always changing, and that's kind of exciting.
That is exciting. Something new every day. You don't
Right,
have that
for sure.
monotony. That is awesome. I love that about ag too because it's something new every day, and then every season is something different too. It's not the same thing every day all year long. You've got different stages of the year where you're doing different
Mhm.
stuff. Calving, breeding, you know, embryo transfers, AI, whatever. They're all in different times of the year. Very, very
Right.
cool. Well, Emma, this has been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on and sharing this with us today, and congratulations on all the success so far.
Thank you.
Well, thank you for being here, everybody, and thank you to Emma Victory for coming on and sharing that great story with us today. That was a lot of fun. Well, everybody, we would love it if you would subscribe to us here on YouTube. Just click that subscribe button, click that little bell so you get notifications when we release new videos. And hey, thank you so much for being here, everybody. As always, enjoy your journey to the ultimate lifestyle business, agriculture.